So I don't think that the liberals understand the gravity of what they did in this election. I mean, they took a dictator that was about ready to take over the country and they threw his ass out into the street. I mean, what countries around the world, do they do this for? I mean, this is like it's really a testament of the American spirit that they took somebody like Donald Trump and his propaganda machine of like QAnon lies, and they just like was able just to rise up against all the hate in this country and the racism and just the crap and the evil coming out of that party, and then totally deny them. I mean, Trump lost worse than HRC by a long shot. I mean, you know, you talk about like Trump like getting the election stolen. I mean, HRC, you know, has a much bigger case for the fact that that election was stolen than Trump's, because HRC, not only did she win the popular vote, but she also won the polls. And the voting at the vote box didn't match the polls. So people said, oh, well, the polls are rigged. Well, no, maybe not, because Trump was losing in the polls and he lost at the box. So, using that logic, you know, anytime somebody says, Trump won, I say HRC won. HRC won 2016. I don't know why Trump was pretending to be president, because he didn't win. I mean, he had no business being president. He didn't understand the Constitution. I mean, look to see what, like, these people in government, the swamp. Oh yeah, okay, the deep state swamp. Look what the deep state swamp creatures said about Trump. Okay, the guy didn't know anything about the Constitution. They always had to explain it to him. It was always getting in his way. He hated the First Amendment. He hated the media. He didn't think that the media should even exist. He thought there should be like a North Korean style media. I mean, and his supporters, I mean, they just like went off the constitutional cliff. They were just like, pew! It's like they didn't even like check to see what Trump was saying was either even constitutional or had anything to do with like American or freedom. I mean, they loved to hear him talk, and they thought he was funny. I mean, that is really the criteria for these people. Oh yeah, okay, and the racism, right? So you talk about the brown people at the border, right? You insult people. You talk about like HRC, you say lock them up, and you have a chant, and people like they wear the hats. I mean, it's like a carnival, for these people. It's not like, somebody who like should be involved in like running a country. Somebody like a responsible adult, honest Joe Biden. Okay, the old guy. I mean, you might not like him. He's an old, stuttering, child sniffing liberal with dementia, and he still kicked Uncle Trump's ass. I mean, Uncle Trump, he's gone, man, bye, and he's not coming back. He is not even electable. And actually, I hope they do run him, because it's going to be such a shit show. I mean, imagine Trump up there on a podium having to answer questions about the lost election in 2020, and him still crying over spilled milk, about how, it was stolen and it was rigged, and there's never, ever, ever been any evidence of this whatsoever. It's called a logical fallacy. The burden of proof is on Trump, and he's lying. And if you believe Uncle Trump, then you just don't understand logic. And this is what the mainstream media understands, is logic, and they report based on facts and not feelings. So, they say F your feelings. That's kind of rude, but hey man, stick with the mainstream media. Mainstream media will always give you the real answers, tell you the truth. Stick with them. You'll be one step ahead of everybody else. That's what rational people do. Trust me, I've looked into your conspiracy theories and all your crap and garbage, and it's all BS, lies, okay? Stick with professional journalists, and you will be on the right track to being a good person, an honest person, and understand what is actually happening in this country and around the world.